Okay. All right. I think we're really ready this time. Good morning. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living Online. We're so happy to have you here with us today. Thank you for being with us through Facebook Live or through Zoom. We're so happy to have you here. I have a few announcements, and the first one is this Wednesday is the final day to fill out our reconvening survey. If you've not yet filled the survey out, please do so. This will allow our leadership to hear where the community stands and what you're willing to do and need from us as we begin to come back together in person. It's a short survey, so it shouldn't take very long to complete, and we really, really want to thank you ahead of time. You'll see the link for that in your weekly newsletter. Reverend Dusty and the Leadership Council continue to talk about our reconvening plans. At this time, after looking at all the science and all of the data and going within and listening to our inner divine wisdom, we are continuing to choose to honor the stricter guidelines for the time being. We will be sending out a summary of the survey and our reconvening plans soon. If you would like to join us on Saturday, June 27th at 7 o'clock for virtual bingo, be on the lookout for the link to register. This is going to be a lot of fun. The link will come through Constant Contact the same way you receive our weekly newsletter. If you do not receive the newsletter, please let Heather or Reverend Dusty know and we'll get that link to you. Now, this is going to be really cool how it works. The cost is $5 for 3 virtual bingo cards. Sometime after you register and before the 27th, the night of bingo, you'll receive links to your 3 unique cards, which you'll be able to print out and use for all of your games. So you can sit there and have 3 cards and play them at the same time. That's a trip, let me tell you. I've done it before. There will be cash prizes for all of the games. While we will not be able to break bread together physically, I believe it will be a lovely way to stay connected. So we really hope you'll be there on June 27th, Saturday night. The Triangle for Center for Spiritual Living will be hosting one class this summer, and it is our self-mastery class. It's a CSL certified class which focuses on healing the perceived separation between your personality and spirit. Through an active exploration of the creative nature of thoughts and feelings, beliefs, and emotions, the students have an opportunity to gain mastery in the art of living as conscious, intentional beings. The course will be held on 10 consecutive Tuesday evenings, beginning Tuesday, June 31st. It'll be held on Zoom, of course, and will be facilitated by Reverend Betty Harris, our own Reverend Betty. The texts that are used for the class are the Science of Mind textbook, Living the Science of Mind, both by Ernest Holmes, and The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. The cost is $245, and payment plans are available. The foundation class is a prerequisite for self-mastery. You can register through our website or click on the link in this coming Wednesday's newsletter. So we hope to see you there. It's a wonderful class. It will really help you live an intentional life. So I just welcome you once again, and I'd like to introduce our practitioner, Carol Cross. Or Heather, rather, I'm sorry. Heather is going to be coming up. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning. Good morning. Our theme for 2020 is 2020 Spiritual Vision. Our June theme is Mindfulness for Mavericks. Ruth's talk title today is Mindful Intentions. I am now going to read this community's purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. And now I would invite you to participate in centering. I invite you to close your outer eyes and turn within, allowing these healing sounds to wash over you.
So just staying turned within. As I speak a word of blessing on our service today, knowing that in this moment, despite circumstances, despite appearances, there is this one peaceful and harmonizing presence that I call Spirit. That it creates with love and gives peace to all of its creation. It is there for our taking. So I'm grateful to know this. And I stand here in this now moment, the moment from where all creation is created, knowing that I am one with it, that I can never be separated from Spirit, because Spirit became me in order to express itself. It became a unique expression through me, and as it has through me, it has through everyone. Every sentient being is a unique expression of the divine, wonderful in every way, beautiful, harmonious, and peaceful. And each has the qualities of God available to them at any time that they wish to take them. And so knowing that we are all wrapped up in this one life of Spirit, I know that we, each of us, can never be separate despite any circumstance or appearance otherwise. So I speak a word of blessing on our service today, knowing that it unfolds perfectly, that each person that is here is blessed, that their hearts are transformed and their lives move forward in a new way. So I'm grateful for everyone that is part of this service. I'm grateful for their contributions of helping to build community. I'm grateful for this community and every person in it, knowing that they build a loving presence, a loving, harmonious place for us all to practice the presence. So I simply allow my word to go out, for God to catch it and make it so. And so it is. So I'd like to introduce our practitioner of the day, Carol Cross.
Hello, everybody. We are so glad to be connected with you through the miracles of technology. I'm going to begin with our blessings of all faiths. And I've got a wonderful assistant here. All right. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and the threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic tradition are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principles of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Okay, the reading for today is from one of my favorites, Henry David Thoreau. He says, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and to see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." So I'm going to say a word of blessing on our service people today. So once again, having embraced all paths, I feel the oneness. My oneness with God, my oneness with everyone else's one with God. It's just all one great flowing miasma of God stuff showing up in all sorts of different ways. And it's all so good. I say a word of blessing today on Ruth Pulley as she comes forth to be a fountain of love and of wisdom and of power, divinely guided to help us all see the light, even brighter than we already do. And I say a word of blessing on Cindy Johnson, whose beautiful talents move our hearts, singing with the very vibration of love. So I know that these two people are going to deliver a fantastic service for us, and I am excited to be part of it. So knowing that it's going to touch everyone who gets the benefit of listening to this, I turn it over to the universe to make it into a perfect event for all. And I ask you to join me by affirming, "And so it is." And now we have Cindy Johnson.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am kinder every moment, every day, and I am loving every moment, every day. I will surrender every moment, every day.
Thank you, Cindy. That was beautiful. That's pretty much what I'm going to talk about, so we can just go home now. No. Yes, that's true. Y'all are home already. It's a wild and crazy bunch here, and we miss you so much. So, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well, and it's all comfy wherever you may be. We are joyful and smiling faces here, so I hope you can feel that energy. So the theme for the month is mindfulness for mavericks, which I think is a really perfect call to use this spiritual practice to kind of up-level our lives. You know, when you think of mavericks, you think of someone they know what they want and they go for it and they don't care, you know. And so it's an opportunity to literally upend our lives, these old ways of thinking, these old ways of being, and step into this boldly into this life full of passion and love and creativity, not only for ourselves, but now more than ever for the planet, for everyone. So last week, Dusty spoke on the importance of the breath as a grounding and guiding force in this practice of mindfulness. To use this tool that's present within all of us to assist in this present moment thinking and this present moment living. So today I'd like to begin a conversation on a second tool within this understanding of mindfulness that we can use to tap into our own creative power and abilities. Drum roll. This tool is called intention. All right. So intention has quite a few contexts as far as definitions. But the most common, and the two that we're going to use today are, for the purpose of this discussion, is one, an act of determining mentally upon some action. And number two is a medical understanding, which I'd never really understood until I kind of read, is the process by which a wound or fracture heals, is also called intention. I didn't know that either. And so I believe this understanding of healing is a beautiful and visual understanding. It's oftentimes that we see things in our lives or come in situations in our lives that we want to change or we want to grow in. And those are the times where we kind of set these intentions of like, okay, I'm going to do this in my life. Or this is how I want to show up. Or this is how I want our world to be. So I'm going to do something different in order to heal, in order to transform that. And so we go about contemplating these actions, these things in our lives to kind of get to where we want to be and to get to those things that we want to see. So that idea of intention as healing, as transformation is amazing. So intention becomes this guiding principle of how we want to be, how we want to show up in the world. Now, we have to be really careful not to confuse intention with goals. So goals are different than intentions. So goals are kind of like this. There are specific things that we want to attach an expectation or an evaluation to, such as, I would like to lose 5 pounds this month, or I am going to make a goal of running 5 miles every day. Now, that is not my goal. It may be someone else's goal. But do you see, intentions, however, are these heart-centered things, these value-centered things, those things in which we want to align our lives to, an aim or a specific direction. Now, we may want to run 5 miles a day, but the intention may be health and wholeness. So you see the difference. Intentions are kind of our purpose, kind of how we want to, an attitude that serves to align ourselves and guide our lives. Another example of intention may be, I want to practice non-judgment towards myself and others. Or I want to find balance, or I want to open my heart and mind. So you see the difference. Instead of a specific goal, it's more of a way of being. This is what an intention is. So setting intentions are ways to bring kind of our hearts and our minds kind of in alignment. And it kind of shows in our life and guides how we want to live and be. So this conversation regarding goals and intentions and this feeling tone reminds me of a crazy story from my own life. So if I'm honest, I have so many crazy stories from my own life that I will never run out of talk material, which I guess is a good thing. And if not, I can borrow some crazy stories from yours. And so I may have told this story before, and if I have, just forget that and act like you are hearing it for the first time, okay? So I was not a normal kid, and I know this kind of surprises everyone. Growing up, I'm a preacher's kid, which that may surprise you, but growing up, we had this brick wall behind our house. And so there was a period of my life, my very young life, where I would go every day and climb to the top of this wall. Now, it was like 5 foot, but, you see how tall I am, so that was like Kilimanjaro. So I would stand on this wall and I would say, God, please help me fly. And I would take a deep breath and I would jump. And I would fall to the ground. Now, some may look at this rather odd scenario, and I'm sure we had many neighbors that was like, who in the world is this crazy kid, jumping off this brick wall all the time? But some may say, look at the scenario and say that my goal was to fly, and they would be wrong. But instead, in my little bitty brain at that time, my intention was to be closer to God. And that's what guided this action. That's what guided my motives. That's what guided this desire to climb this little brick wall, was to be closer to God. Now, when I was thinking about this story this week, it struck me that which I was seeking was already there. Now, that's a side note to the talk, but it was this awareness that here I was trying to get closer to God. That was my intention, but that which I sought was already there. So I think, do you understand that? Now, you may not understand how that relates to intention and goals, but it kind of made sense to me. That our intentions are these guiding principles, these guiding forces, the things that kind of determine how do we want to show up. And how I wanted to show up was to be really close to God. So Henry David Thoreau, who took time out of his mainstream life to live by Walden Pond in isolation and contemplation, is known for the absolutely fabulous quote that Carol read. And I'm so glad he's one of your favorites. That worked out perfect. And I think its understanding is foundational to this discussion about the purpose and power of intention. So he states, and I'll read it again. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front the essential facts of life, and to see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. So living from intention. And notice, he didn't stay at Walden Pond. He learned those lessons and he had to get back to life, and that's what we have to do as well. Living from intention means choosing how we want to live, purposefully, deliberately. It's rising above this understanding that life is something that happens to us. Don't we kind of get in that mindset that, this stuff is happening to us? But the truth is that the life is happening through us, through this deliberate decision, these intentions. We have the ability to consciously choose how we want to show up, how we want to live. Through our intentions, we have the ability to create this framework for a life that's passionate, joyful, meaningful, and not just for our own sakes, but for everyone. To totally up-level the consciousness of our world. And I think we need it. There's no amen there? Thank you. No. An approach to truly cultivating intention is, like Dusty talked about last week, it's mindfulness. And we talk about that a lot. And you know why? Because it's really important. Mindfulness is the art of living in the present moment, deliberately and intentionally. Being fully aware of our thoughts and feelings and our behaviors, although sometimes we don't want to be. This ability to take in everything with our senses moment by moment. It should come as no surprise that we spend a lot of time living in the past and a lot of time living in the future. And so the little secret is, and I'll let you know a secret, life can only be lived right now. The past no longer exists. The future doesn't exist. Only now, this moment. And then this moment. And then this moment. This is where life happens, in these moments. This moment is the only thing that's real. This moment is our life. I have this little sign on my desk, and it says, "Be happy for this moment. This moment is your life." Nothing after, nothing before, right now. So what does it mean to live by a space of intention? Intention is the starting point of every dream. It is the creative power that fulfills all of our desires. Everything that happens in the universe begins with intention. So if you're thinking about an invention, like whoever invented the chair, you have to do it in your brain first, and then it shows up. The same with intentions. We set that intention within our minds and with our hearts, and then it's only then that it can show up in our lives. And oftentimes we allow that life is living us instead of us living life. And we allow the stuff of life that clouds our spaces of clarity and intention and the truth of who we are. And it often can mask those things. And so just as a competent surfer, now I have tried surfing and I am not in the category of competent surfing. I am the category of someone who can hold a surfboard. That's about it. Believe me, it was not a pretty sight. But I digress. Just like a competent surfer doesn't have control of a wave, but instead masters the art of riding it and going where it goes. This is the role of intention, to allow us to master the art of riding and guiding life. Not controlling, but setting things in motion, charting a course. Notice the water metaphors. To direct our life in meaningful and intentional ways. So I think we've established the importance of intention and living from the space of mindfulness. So let's talk about some practical ways of doing this. Often ideas sound really good on paper and really good when someone's standing up here and saying it to you. But living it, that is the real challenge. And believe me, it's not just a challenge for you, it's a challenge for all of us. So first we have to start by assessing what's important to us. Our intentions, how we want to show up in the world, should be closely aligned to our own personal values, those things that are important to us, those ways of seeing life, those paradigms. I just took a class, Paradigms of Consciousness, so that word is in my brain. But those paradigms, those worldviews, how we see the world, that's where our intentions come from. So first, what are those values and qualities that you want to bring to your life? Now, it's going to be different for me. It's going to be different for everyone. But just to think about, how do I want to show up? What are the values and qualities that I want to bring to this life? So this includes taking some sort of mental inventory. And I would really encourage you to take a written inventory of your values, your strengths, your gifts. In fact, in my real life, I'm a clinical social worker, and this is how I decided what I was going to be. I took an inventory, because I'm that type of person, of the things that came natural to me, the things that I enjoyed, the things that stirred passion within me, and I had a list. I'm like, okay, what profession best meets that? And boom, there you go. The same for ministerial school. Like, what things really stirred passion? What things, like when I do it, I'm like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing in the world. And then I chose to do it. So this is what I'm thinking. Those things that stir passion within you, those things that stir joy in you, these are the fertile ground for our intentions. What are those things you would like to bring forth that are meaningful and important to you? All right, everybody get out a piece of paper. Yeah, they're faking like they're having a piece of paper. Okay, wait a minute. I mean, why wait? Let's kind of do this now. All right, let's take a few seconds, and I mean a few seconds. If you don't have a piece of paper, you got a pen, you can jot it on your arm. A few seconds to jot down what is important to you. What are those things that stir passion, that stir joy within you, that really kind of get you going? Okay. You can come back to that, but you get the point. It's to really take this mental inventory, this written inventory. Secondly, and we touched on this earlier, once we brought forth to mind how we want to show up in the world, those things that stir passion and joy within us, those things that are important to us, we have to make a commitment to bring those things into our mindfulness, bring those things into our present moment awareness, into our meditation, whether it be walking or exercising or eating or interacting with others, to take these passions, take these joys, take these intentions into our present moment, to be fully engaged in every moment of our lives, our environment, our relationships, to make a conscious choice to take these intentions and squeeze the juice out of life. I read one time that spiritual people are juicy people. People that just want to squeeze every little drop out of life. So by cultivating this awareness, we begin to live intentionally, the self-directed life. And it's through this process that we move on to the next step, which is, I think, one of the most important steps, and that is action. Oftentimes we have these ideas in our heads, don't we? And we have these ideas written down, and then somehow between this and here, we lose it. But we must take action. Once we have a personal inventory, once we've brought these things into our present moment awareness, then we have to determine the steps to get there, the next right actions. This doesn't mean we have to have everything planned out, but that next right action. We establish a framework, we establish a container for our lives so that we can step into it, we can show it, we can bring those gifts into that container. Those gifts, those opportunities, those desires that will absolutely elevate us to the next level of being, and that's living an intentional life. Now, this can be scary sometimes, and sometimes I struggle with knowing what the right step is. And so when you, in this situation, I get caught up doing one of two things. Either like doing, fixing, or paralyzed. Now, this is much like how it is when I sit on a plane. And I know I've used this plane thing before, but it's a really big thing in my life, where I sit on a plane, and they're getting ready to shut the door, and I have two options. One, I can run and knock down all the flight attendants and everyone trying to get on and then be off the plane, or then I'm just paralyzed and just can't move out of the seat. So you understand, it's like, I know it's scary, and I know it's scary to have these things that stir passion with us and then not knowing what the next step is. But sometimes that's all we can do is one step at a time. To get quiet, to get mindful, and what is my next right action? One step at a time. And that is perfect. It means we're on a path. Not anyone else's path, but our path. So we find ourselves at a very critical time in history, in everyone's life. Now more than ever, we must answer the call to live an intentional life. As individuals, as a spiritual community, to embody the truth of who we are. And to live from that space, to make the intention to show up as love, peace, joy, compassion, to set the intention to cultivate balance in ourselves and the world. To seek to open our minds and hearts, to stay steady, calm, and focused, to act and live out of courage, to be able to seek out and embrace change, to give and receive love, to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and to be willing to connect with others. Now is the time. Now is the time. A life lived from intention is one that is a powerful co-creator with the universe. Our intention is our superpower. Carol talked about our superpower earlier. Our intention is our superpower. To use this intention, use this power to create a life that we love, a life that works for everyone. And I know that we say that, but truly a life that works for everyone. We have to give life and feet to these intentions. We just have to. It's about time, don't you think? Yes. Thank you. And this is the greatest gift that we can give ourselves. It's the greatest gift that we can give others. It's the greatest gift that we can give to the universe. So I'll leave you with a poem by James Kavanaugh. And I believe it calls to this idea of intention. It calls to us now more than maybe ever. And it's called, It's Time. And he says, it's time to clothe my dreams in reality, to create a home for wanderers who cannot bow before the traditions of a single dwelling in a fenced yard, who look beyond marriage and blood to gather brother and sisters bound by more than customs and umbilical cords. Generous minds and loving hearts, laughing eyes and simple taste, who know that serenity at sunrise and peace at sunset are worth more than treasures of kings and IRA securities. It's time to clothe my dreams in reality, to gather kindred spirits who look beyond what is and was and understand what can be, who know that love and compassion, joy and peace are our birthright, stolen by a culture's madness, and to band together the manipulations of frightened lives, wise minds and bruised hearts, daring souls and brave spirits who know that love is worth the stars and friendship does not hide its private anxieties behind sophistication and steel symbols. It's time to clothe my dreams in reality, to move beyond jealousy and possession, isolation and imprisonment, to confront boredom and loneliness, sadness and lovelessness, to make known my secret needs and reveal my hidden yearnings, to risk self-exposure as the only path to final freedom, to surround myself with the energy flowing from the earth's core, the passion of rivers and the resilience of trees, and thus to clothe my dreams in reality. And so it is. So I would invite you in this moment just to take a deep breath. And as we feel that energy of that life that enters in us when we do that physical thing of breathing, as our cells are oxygenated and given power to create, that's also true on the spiritual side. That as we breathe in this moment, we breathe in this power, we breathe in this creative force, we breathe in this power of intention, knowing that it is the breath of the universe. It is that creative life. And what I know about that is that I'm breathing, and you're breathing, and everyone that can hear me is breathing. And so we're all participating in this flow of life. We are all creators, co-creators with the universe. And that this life flows through us. It does not happen to us. That we have the power. We have the ability, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it, to create a life that we truly love to live. That this love, this passion, this peace is found in community. Where there are times in our lives and the times in the life of the world where it's hard to see. But it's our role, our job, to hold that space when maybe others can't in that moment. And that's how we participate in this thing called life. So I speak a word knowing that there is a space within us, there's a power within us through our participation with this universal flow of energy, that we can create a life that truly works for everyone. A life that we can't wait to live. A life that's bubbling and overflowing. And maybe spills a little bit on someone beside of us. And so I'm grateful for this awareness. I'm grateful for this understanding of our oneness, understanding of our community. Not only this spiritual community, but the community of this planet. And so I release these words into this universal law that only says, yes, give me more. I am just anxious to show you a life full of joy and full of love. And so it is. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Ruth. Thank you so much. And now is the time for our conscious giving. Your community here, the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, is sustained by the giving of all of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist the community to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and others. Together, we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts the spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency in the entire world. Please repeat after me. I am grateful for all that I receive.
I am grateful for all that I receive.
I am grateful for all that I may give.
I am grateful for all that I may give.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Without further ado, first I'll let you know that on the screen is our text to give, if you want to use that. Or you can also go to our website, and there's a give button up in the corner, and we appreciate your gifts and your talents. And I will turn it over to you, Cindy.
Thank you. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving into the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, oh my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here
Thank you so much, Cindy. That was so beautiful. Okay, so I'm here to remind you that the fact that we're not physically together doesn't mean that we aren't here for you. So if there is anyone out there who would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. And on the home page, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. You can click on that button and fill in the request form. And we will get those prayers and send them out to all of the ministers and practitioners who will keep those thoughts for you for the coming week. And if you're not a website person, you can always just contact Dusty, contact any of us. Don't feel like you're alone. We are connected no matter what. Okay, so now it's time for our June affirmation. And of course you have a choice, but I really suggest that you get off of the couch or you get out of bed and stand up, because that just gives it so much more oomph as we say these strongly and confidently to ourselves. Okay, so this is a call and response, so please repeat after me. There is only one mind.
There is only one mind.
That mind is God's mind.
That mind is God's mind.
That mind is perfect.
That mind is perfect.
And that mind is my mind now.
That mind is my mind now.
My mind is the most powerful instrument in the universe.
My mind is the most powerful instrument in the universe.
My thoughts and words have impact and meaning.
My thoughts and words have impact and meaning.
My intentions are clear and powerful.
My intentions are clear and powerful.
I manifest them with love and peace
I manifest them with love and peace
for myself and all living beings.
for myself and all living beings.
Every action I take
Every action I take
emerges from knowing my oneness with everything.
emerges from knowing my oneness with everything.
Through mindfulness, I am serving the highest good of all.
Through mindfulness, I am serving the highest good of all.
And so it is. All right. So I'm going to wrap things up with a final benediction, but make sure you stay around because we have a inspiring video for you all to watch before you go on with your day. But for a moment, one last time, close your eyes. And I know my God cup is just overflowing right now. It's just been such a whole experience of getting in touch with the truth of who and what I am. And who and what I am is that one source, that one power, that creator that knows nothing except love and peace and power and joy and abundance. And that is who I am. And it's not just who I am, it is who you are. It is who all of us are. It is what everything is. We live in a universe of peace and plenty and joy and creativity and wonder. So breathe in that reality. It's my reality. It's your reality. It's all of ours reality. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for the people who have given their talents to this service today. I'm so grateful for those of you who are over technology have been contributing your energy. And I'm grateful for these spiritual practices that have us realize that this is a wonderful world and we're living a wonderful life. So I turn it over to God, knowing that it's going to be a fabulous day, a fabulous life for us all. And so it is. And so here we have our video.